Hello, my dear, beautiful, lovely friends. This is Dana of Dana Spirit Butterfly back again on video. I do regret that I haven't done many videos this year. There are so many reasons why they fell over. Not having a permanent abode certainly challenged those. But I saw a client recently and she, in person, of course, because I'm still doing in-person readings. And she said to me, why did you stop the videos? And I was like, well, because I'm moving around and all these things are happening. And she's like, but it was just like this, us in person, but it was you on video and I could watch you at any time. And I was like, well, that's why most of my client base now, I'm shifting to online platforms. So happy to keep making the videos. In fact, it is my intent for next year to do them at least on a monthly basis. And of course, there'll be a lot more online courses available to you. But for now, this video is not just about me. It's also because I felt compelled to do a video, one last video for this year. And on that note, I'm incredibly grateful for the new beautiful clients that I met across 2017. Man, was it tough. It was such a tough year. I did not have one client who wasn't facing significant hardship and significant trauma that they needed to work through. It was not an easy ride, and it's interesting that I just pulled a couple of cards before and I will go through them because this is essentially just a reading, but Spirit has asked me specifically, thank you Spirit for tapping on the head, they want to claim this one rather than this actually coming from me, because let's face it, doing videos certainly is requiring me to step into an aspect of myself that I had naturally as a child, but as an adult I run away from. So firstly, they need you to understand that we all had expectations that 2017 was going to be a magnificent, incredible year. And in a fashion it was. It's just that it didn't appear in the way that we had planned. And so 2017, a number one year, it was supposed to be a year of beginnings, and indeed it was a year of beginnings, but it was also cross-referenced by a whole lot of energetic grid shifting that happened, a lot of coronal injections from the solar body, which is the sun. There were so many shifts, and also those of you who haven't seen me recently will hear me rant about how the veil between the spirit world and the physical plane is getting thinner and thinner every year. Now this is going to continue. This is not a shifting trend. This is a part of our upgrade. It's a part of our spiritual awakening. The planet is being awoken, and it's being awoken in a rude fashion. You don't have to be ready for it to happen. It's just going to happen to you. And so the sooner you get onto the bandwagon of learning how your intuition works, the easier these things flow. So we all expected abundance. We all expected the things to just fall into a lap, and in a fashion they did for those people who understood how their intuition worked and how to flow with the abundances available to us. But the unfortunate thing is that most of us did not have that energy upgrade yet, that understanding of how to make that work for us. And so because of that, this year offered us more of an opportunity to have another look at how we're viewing our world, which is basically our perception, our capacity to perceive ourselves in the physical world. So from that perspective, take heart. You were not alone if you struggled this year. It was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen so that stepping forwards, you can step more into yourself and embrace your beautiful personal power, because we all are about energy sovereignty now. We're all about taking responsibility of our lives and taking the reins essentially of the horse of our carriage so that we can direct it essentially towards where it is that we're going. They're also saying essentially that a lot of us had massive shifts with regards to family members, either family members leaving or new family appearing in our lives that we would never have expected were there. And these shifts essentially were also just a part of this geo grid shift, is that not everybody is shifting. Not everybody is getting the conscious tap on the head and saying, actually, you know what, I am awake and I am aware, and I realize that I have to change the way I see my world. I have to change the decisions that I'm making in order to take responsibility for my life. Not all of our family members went there this year. They had an opportunity. In fact, a number of them had a number of opportunities, but it just wasn't enough for them. They weren't ready to make the shift, and that's their responsibility, but it's also their journey, and we need to honor and respect that. So if you lost any significant family members, and I'm not just talking about family members who may have just shifted out of your social space, but I'm also talking about ones who may have passed over. And the reason why that needs to be mentioned today is that not all of the ones who did decide and understand that we do make a decision to leave this planet at the time that we do. Every single soul does have the ability to choose whether we stay or whether we go. the number of souls that did depart this life in 2017, they made a conscious decision to leave because they didn't really want to be a part of the world anymore. And that is understandable, because the fracture between the old world and the new world that's coming is, the cavern is wider. I mean, we're seeing this on the planet. We're seeing the earthquakes, and we're seeing all of the destruction that's happening. The Mother Earth is purging herself merely because of this divide. This massive divide is going to continue that process. So the sooner we can all get up to speed with who we are, what we're about, and what it is that we're here to gift the world, the better. I can't emphasize that enough. As a part of my mission here is to help those of you who want to do that to know how to do that for yourself, because it makes no sense for me to tell you how I did it. Only it makes more sense to me to be able to empower you to be able to find your own answers in your own way, because only you know you. And so 2017 was very much about that. It was very much about you understanding that the buck stopped with you. You were the person who needed to step up and either create space for new, or choose to dwell in the muck that you had from your past history and the old story that you're telling yourself. They're also talking about relationships. Now, relationships, if you're in a relationship, your relationship significantly shifted this year. And what that means is that it was possible that, what I was just saying before about how not all family members decided to come with, not all family members decided to step into that conscious awakening and awareness. What they're saying is that a lot of family members, you may have been in a couple where you're awake and the other person's just a little bit slow to waken up. And you can see the signs there. You can see that they're distressed, and you can see that they're not dealing with their current reality and the way they're perceiving it, but they're not helping themselves. And so for some of you, that may have resulted in a relationship breakup. And there were a lot of relationship breakups. I had a significant volume of clients coming to me who are asking the question, is it time, do I leave this person because I just don't feel it anymore? Now, I feel that we have a moral responsibility to allow energy to shift and to allow ourselves to evolve. Our primary responsibility is for our own self-sovereignty. And it's not about being selfish. It's actually about being mindful of the fact that if you can't love yourself, if you can't sit in a space of integrity for you, then you can't represent yourself as an authentic human being on this planet, and you can't feel whole and safe within your own skin. And so it's really important that where you were in a relationship where you felt like you had to compromise how you saw yourself and the upgrades that you're experiencing for the other person, this essentially relates to energetic deficit. This is going to suppress your energy and make you feel really bad, and make you feel like the world is just stopped and there's no opportunities for you. So for many of you, you took the brave decision, and it was a very brave decision, particularly if you're in a relationship long term, to opt out. To opt out and say, look, I love you, I have love in my heart for you, but I just don't see my future together alongside you anymore, and I need to let you go so that you can have your own experience, and you need to allow me to do the same. And so bravo for those of you who took the courage to do that, because I know that it takes courage to do that, specifically with love and kindness in your heart, and so many of you have that beautiful gift within you, and you're exercising that grandly, and so well done. For those of you who decided to stay in the relationship, awesome, you needed to broker your own new way of being in that relationship and still maintaining that integrity. And for some of you, that meant rewiring your capacity to see your relationship as this even kind of expectation nexus. Is kind of one of those strange things with relationships, that we walk into a relationship thinking that I need to give that person equal rights and I have equal rights, but what often happens is that one of us ends up doing all of the grunt work, and the other person usually ends up relaxing and chilling out, and not necessarily putting their best foot forwards in the relationship, because they relax because you're there. And it's understandable that they do that, particularly with regards to our cultural programming, of course, usually, but not always, that relates to a woman who usually puts aside her own personal life in order to make sure that the home and the family is taken care of. And the man, of course, enjoying that, contributing in his own way, but that may not have been enough for the woman, and there may have been an imbalance, and the contrast sitting there where you believed that you deserve better may have pushed you into a karmic calamity, into a crisis of the soul. And so some of you would have just gone, okay, you know what, I just need to shift myself within this relationship, and I choose to stay in it, and that's okay too. It's okay as long as you're aware that that's what you're doing. Those of you who just perpetuate and continue the same old behavioral programs, however, that's suffering for you, and that's long-term suffering for you. So thankfully most of my clients were able to resolve their challenges through this year, as far as I'm aware. So yay you. But of course, relationships are a work in progress. They're something that evolve over a period of time. None of us stay static, none of us stay steady. Even when we're stuck, there's something brewing under the surface that's shifting. And so from that perspective, as long as we're aware of the fact that we are always two individuals who are constantly in a state of flux, choosing to share a common road together, then as long as that's a conscious decision and both of us are actively in it, then awesome. When one of us just gets passive about it and just accepts it and takes it for granted, then the imbalance usually leads to conflict and chaos. So a lot of that happened during 2017. The last thing Spirit definitely wants me to mention, and you would have witnessed this in my own life, but a lot of us packed up and went. A lot of us just packed up and went overseas. And it's interesting to me, a significant volume of my clients are still traveling the world, and it's beautiful that I do work mostly on Skype now, because I still get in contact with them. I still have my sessions with them, and I get to hear all their beautiful stories as they're traveling. So I love the fact that 2017, a lot of you got to a point where you realized that staying static in this one position was just not going to be enough for you, that you needed to have a look at what was actually outside your front door, and instead of watching all the fun on TV or looking it up on Facebook, you were actually going to go out and walk the walk. And so many of you did literally pack your bags and jump on the next plane and head overseas with no real plan. Look, again, that takes courage. 2017, in my experience, was a year of courage for many of us. And so if that was you, congratulations. I know I certainly learned so much on my travels that I now invest back into my coaching programs, but also in my own life. I'm a significantly happier person, and I have less material things, and I would never have been able to say that a few years ago. So, packing your bags, taking a trip, going on the journey, not just figuratively, but also literally, did mark very much 2017. Of course, those of you who weren't able to physically pack up, some of you just had your journey anyway, but you did it in your own backyard, and that's fine, and that's awesome. Just as long as you understand that life as the journey is about experience. It's not about knowing stuff, it's about doing stuff, it's about becoming, it's about expressing, it's about sitting in the space of your own consciousness and allowing that to have a physical vehicle, a physical expression, a physical reality in the world. So nothing left to say more on that topic. I think 2017, most of us are done with 2017, so let's just release that into the field of the past, which is where the past needs to stay. We're going to, at the end of this video, I will show you or tell you about a little ritual that I suggest that you take advantage of at the very end of the year, that will help you to kind of package up quite nicely all the things that you learned in 2017 and send it on its merry way, so that you can create new space for the new things and the beautiful world and wisdom that's coming to you in 2018. And there's a lot. 2018 is going to be magnificently super. Of course, understanding Spirit's just reminding me that there's always a bit of a bedding down period. So 2017 we saw was a bit of a year of the phoenix, but it was the last end of the phoenix. It was more about clearing the field, more about burning, more about seeing all the things that we wanted to start and realizing that the field hadn't been prepared for what it is that we wanted to start. So we were burning stuff. We were burning all the things that didn't belong to us. So stepping into 2018 is going to be a clear slate. Now, for some of you, this is going to be a little bit scary when you step into 2018 with very few expectations, because understand, expectations actually come from your belief of something that you've experienced in the past that you're projecting into your future. You're actually, with expectations, trying to predict the future, and of course, even me, the psychic, doesn't believe that we can genuinely predict the future. We only understand that there's higher potentialities for particular things and opportunities for certain things. If I dare to dream and I dare to walk the walk and step through the door, then this is likely to happen for me. And if I'm not, then that's other things are likely to happen for me. Yeah, so we are active participants in our own life. We do have free will, and we do continue to grow and shape and change as we move forwards as active participants, as conscious communicators in the world. Yeah, so firstly, they're saying that January, February, it's going to be a little bit of us trying to find some level of balance. You know, I know here in Australia, obviously it's summer, and so during summer we don't really care so much about innovation. We don't really care so much necessarily about introspection, although obviously the spirit within is always a matter of introspection. And what they're saying is that January and February is very much just going to be about maintaining the status quo. So we're going to try to bed down some of the lessons that we learned in 2017 and find a steady ground. And this is a good thing, yeah. Particularly with January, February. January is, as a number one month, usually talks about getting it clear in our mind what we want to manifest, and in order to do that, sometimes we need to sit still and dream a bit. We need to sit still and go, okay, so where am I at? How do I start? What is it that I want in the future? And I start to build the dream, but in building the dream, I also need to get an awareness of what's on the ground. And so that's what January, February is mostly going to be about. It's going to be about maintaining some level of contentment within the structures with which we've already got. Moving forwards, however, they're saying that March, April, May are going to be about us starting to make progress on things that we previously had planned but weren't really working out for us. And so the message that they want to give to you is that don't end 2017 believing that all the stuff that you've done, because it hasn't worked out in 2017, is not going to progress further in 2018. On the contrary, you've already done all this beautiful work, so don't get disheartened. All this beautiful work that you've done during 2017 and all the dream space and all the wonderful gifts that you've planned to bring to the planet, they are still available to you, and the ground is more fertile in 2018. So hold on to that. Hold on to all of the love that you feel that you deserved and you were looking for in 2017. If it didn't come to fruition in 2017, it's likely to come through in 2018. So hold forward, hold the ground, and make sure that you're sitting still in the space of, I wanted it then, I still want it now, it still serves me, so therefore I'm still going to keep that clear in my mind that that's what I want. And so they're saying March, April, May is going to be that realization that this stuff is still on, this stuff is still in progress, and this stuff is still a reality for you. It's just that it's time for you to do it with a new playing ground, to move forwards with that new appreciation of the new environment. They're saying heading forwards, however, look, after April, there's going to be a significant shift again. I get the feeling, and you know, those of you who keep following the crazy predictions I sometimes make about earthquakes and a variety of things, you realize that I feel like I'm getting this feeling that there's going to be quite a lot of chaos in April, May, June, July. So April, there's going to be some, what they're saying is that there's going to be some tectonic plate shiftings that's going to happen on the planet that's going to create a little bit more havoc kind of in the middle of the year. Now, understand that those types of things are just a part of human nature. They're actually just a part of the earth. So they're not really, I mean, obviously they're a calamity for people who are in the region where this stuff is happening. But for most of us who aren't in those regions, when we tend to panic about these types of things and we start to catastrophize about how the planet is just going to crap, what we're doing is, in a fashion, is we're fueling this idea that the earth is turning to crap, and that's actually not true. The earth is just evolving, the earth is just transforming. And so what they want you to do is, whenever you notice that there's something on the news or there's some calamity of some natural disaster that's happened, they want you to jump on the prayer bandwagon. They actually want you to sit in the space of gratitude. They want you to sit in the space of gratitude for the life that you have, gratitude for the family that you have, gratitude for the experience that you have, gratitude for the access that you have, and to wish that for the people who are in affected areas. What this does is that it contributes significantly to the geogrids of the planet, that allows the geogrids some level of stability, and it fuels the capacity for those who are in affected areas to be able to reclaim their life. So do that instead, but understand that a lot of that calamity and stuff, for some reason they're saying that instead of us looking inwards, we're going to be looking outwards. And particularly because for some reason I feel like I'm going to be in the US by then. What they're saying is that my US clients are going to need to be aware of the fact that that's going to be ground zero for you. There's going to be time for you to really start to marshal all of that beautiful humanitarian spirit that you have there in the US. And I know I witnessed so much of it this year. I was pleasantly surprised by the volume of communitarianism appearing in the States at the moment. So please just hold faith and understand that we have a responsibility to maintain our stability during chaos. When we can do that for ourselves and in our own lives, it allows the people who are experiencing trauma and chaos to start to reclaim theirs quicker. It also allows us to be of service better. And so many of us, and particularly many of you watching this video, the reason why you're watching this video to this point is that you really genuinely care about this planet. You really genuinely care to take responsibility for yourself and to be a part of this massive shift of the planet. You really want to be here. And it's important that you acknowledge that. It's important that you remember that you remember that all the time, even when you're having trouble in your life. It's got nothing to do with you most of the time. It's just got to do with the programs that are default, or the programs that need upgrading within your system. And the spirit world is saying to me specifically, they're asking you to be aware of your programs, because your brain is powerful, your brain is magnetic, your brain is shifting, it opens energy vortexes, it closes down dimensions, it does so many different things. When you understand how your brain works, you'll understand how you can sit in a space of appreciation and gratitude for what your brain does and why it does it, in order to be able to activate it when you need it. But most of you at the moment, you're completely ignorant to it. And you're starting to blame it on other people, you're starting to blame it on situations that happened to you specifically in your past, of course, because that colours your expectations moving forwards. But what they need you to understand is that June, July, August, it's really going to be a battleground for you and your mind. You really need to stabilise that stuff, and you really need to learn about that. So do take responsibility to do that. Don't just do the spiritual work, also do a little bit more understanding of your health. So the things that you put in your mouth, it's all energy. The things that you drink is all energy. The people you hang around is all energy. The environments that you live in is all energy. The decisions that you make when you go to the supermarket, it's all energy. Everything that you do dedicates energy towards the things that you value or the things that you don't value. And if you're not educated as to what that is, you're going to find you're going to be unstable during June, July, August. Moving into September, October, November, December, thank you. So for the rest of the year, what they're saying essentially is that it'll be time to go for gold. You really will, the lessons that you'll learn through the mid-year are going to significantly increase your capacity to tolerate the intolerable, what was previously intolerable for your life. Don't underestimate the power of your mind. When you do get this stuff, you'll start to realize that most of the things that you worry about, there's no need to worry. They're actually not that much of concern. They're really just childish thoughts in a childish mind that are playing childish games with you, so that you get the fact that you're on this earth not to be about you, but to be about the planet. You are here for a reason. The planet needs you. The planet has asked you to be down here. You've been invited to be down here by soul family and soul friends. You have soul contracts with individual human beings here that need to be worked out, that need to be resolved, that need to be financed and delivered. You need these things to happen, and they're all in your soul contract. So the cool thing about that is that chill out. When you chill the out, you'll realize that most of this stuff actually doesn't need that much drama and that much conflict, and you'll realize that you become a sovereign of your life. And so long-term or short version of the long story essentially is that 2018 will be, you've got to get your butt into gear. You've got to realize that all the lessons that you've learned is fuel for your future, for your bright and abundant future. You're going to get a lot more of this stuff. You're going to realize that all the people who don't really get it, they're just baggage, they're excess baggage. And the thing is that they've got two choices. They can either pack their bags and come with you, or they can stay behind. And it's not a matter for you. You can't bring people with you. You've got to allow them to stay where they are and let them actively choose. You've got to give them the right, the ability rather, to take responsibility for themselves and their lives. And if you don't, essentially you're an enabler. So chill out. You're perfectly fine as you are. There are people on this planet who love, respect, and honor you and will listen to you. You just need to reach out. Ask your spirit team, ask your spirit guides, ask your higher self where they are. I have this Minions, I don't have the Minions book here. Actually I do. I'll show you my Minions book. I bought this in New York. Those of you who know. Banana. My childhood nickname is Banana. And this stared me in the face in New York airport. And I was told by Spirit, you want to get that book, it's for your minions. And I was like, what minions? What minions do I have? And they're like, the minions, they're going to appear. They're going to appear to you because you need help and you've been asking for some time and we're here to give it to you. And so I have my little banana book now, which is dedicated to writing about all my little minion incidences. And if you're lucky, I'll be inspired to share them with you heading forwards into the future through my other videos. But other than that, I'm getting the kickoff now. I get to say goodbye to you. So thank you for listening. If you've gotten to the end of this video, congratulations. You have great staying power and great focus, and I really love you. So you know where I am if you need me. I'm available on Skype. My availability on Skype and Zoom, and also on phone in Australia while I'm in Australia, is there. So please don't hesitate. It's just like this in person, except it's a two-way conversation, so you get to say and speak and hear and see and all of those things. I also am running a number of new programs, in so much as if you are a regular client of mine, I do now offer 15-minute readings where you can book relatively quickly, and it's just $50 for 15 minutes, and you get to ask your questions, and I'll just tune into the spirit world to get you some quick answers so that you can move forwards a little bit more directly in your life without coming and seeing me for a whole hour. Yes, so do email me if you'd like to know about that. Of course, I also do like some input, so if you have any burning questions that keep coming up that you really want me to do a video on, or if you want me to do some more live events on the Past Life Regression Facebook group, please speak up. I do need encouragement like everybody else. You know, I still am just a little girl inside, and sometimes I need a little bit of encouragement. So reach out to me, and this is me reaching out to you to say I love you, I recognize you, I see you, I support you, I understand you, and it's been tough, so take heart. You're worth every single cent. You're worth every single effort and every single incidence of love that comes into your life. Be kind. You'll get kindness in return, and I'll hopefully see you in the new year. So have a great end of 2017. Oh yeah, sorry, they're ticking me off. Ritual. If you do want to do a ritual for the end of the year, I always do like to do a releasing ceremony, so close to New Year, if you get the opportunity to, light a candle. I wrote it down actually, thank you, they're reminding me because I'll probably get off track. It's just a spirit channel thing. So what they want you to do is light a candle. Firstly, light a candle, and then express some gratitude for all the lessons that you've experienced. You can go through the lessons that you've had. Some of them are tough, some of them are not that tough, and just thank the universe for the opportunities. Understanding that every single thing that you've experienced is an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about yourself and to bring more of yourself into the world. Ask to be released of any drama or any trauma that's associated with any lessons that you've had. It's really important to ask for that, because drama and trauma in itself is not particularly helpful. What's helpful is the lessons, and you house the lessons within your energetic system. You don't need to hold on to the trauma. You don't need to keep reliving the story anymore. Release it from your field and allow it to go, because it doesn't serve you to hold on to it. Just keep faith that all that you need is actually already in your energetic system from those lessons. And then ask for the path to be cleared for you to manifest what you want in 2018. And then blow out the candle. Simple as that. If you're at a party and you don't get an opportunity to do that, you can just imagine in your mind, if you can find a quiet place, imagine in your mind lighting a candle, and then ask the same thing. So we're looking at 3 things: expressing gratitude, asking to be released of any drama or trauma, and then asking for the pathway to be clear for 2018. Yep. And then imagine yourself blowing out the candle, and that's enough. And then on the 1st of January, by all means, sit down, light a candle or not, but write down a manifestation list. It's perfect for manifesting everything in 2018. So go for gold. Take some time out for you on the 31st of December as well as the 1st of January. My love to all of you, particularly those of you who I met overseas during 2017. It was my absolute pleasure to know each and every one of you, and I can't wait to see you again in 2018. So stay in touch, keep safe, and my love to you. Spirit loves you. I love you. See you.